Okay, jumping over to QuickBooks, I have a template company that I created under customers that's got some default estimates that are for my common shoots. And there are actually a whole bunch in there, and I cleaned it up because a lot of them, I put them in there and I only used them once. Really, everything originates with my package rate, one cam. And these totals are, they're not actuals. Modified them a little bit for the video because, again, I just don't want to have actual numbers out there because things change with time, especially with the hyperinflation situation we're in currently. So just understand those are not real numbers. They're just numbers for demo purposes. So here's my standard template for one-off projects and repeat customers. Top line description, project name, date of shoot. Next up, I ask these questions to every customer: is record specs, 1080 or 4K, log or rec color, and then frame rates, either 2398, 2997, or 5994. Occasionally, I do a European market where I get a shoot at 25, but those are so infrequent, I don't even have it in my template. And then kind of a rundown of what you get on my standard package rate. This matches my rate card, more or less, but you get me as a director of photography, basic interview light kit, basic audio kit, ProMaster van, and one camera package. This I've updated very recently because now just about everything I'm doing is like FX9 and an FX3. The Mira is working less and less. And then here's the actual billable item. I have this as a product service in QuickBooks called Director of Photography. It gets a little messy. Like, I like to track a dollar amount for each thing. Like, say, like, I don't know, $150 of it was lighting, and $135 was for audio, and $650 was for camera, and then whatever's left is my labor. But I've gotten less granular at tracking over the last couple of years, and I just let it all fall in my DP bucket. And then any itemized add-ons will get dropped into their corresponding product service names. And then I got my standard language in here, the initiation fee, copyright, same as my rate card, overtime, defaults, pricing, and then just about everything I do here in Texas is sales tax exempt, but I have to get a signed certificate from each customer that I keep on file. I don't have to have them sign it for every project. I just needed to have them sign it when they first project. Okay, so once this estimate's ready to send off to the customer, I just key in their email address, and I actually change from template to I create a company customer name for that customer, plus their email. Hit save and send, which is slightly off screen here on the screen capture. And then I modify the subject line. I don't know why it doesn't auto-populate the estimate number. This one's 1343. And then I try to append it with the whatever the job name is in the description field. So we'll just call this interviews. And then I can edit the body of the text if there's any specific notes or scope or personalized message I want to send to the customer. Send that off. We'll jump over to my email, see what that looks like on the customer side. So here's the formatting for an estimate. Goes to the customer. It includes an attached PDF. And at the bottom, there's a signature and date field. So new customers, I get them to sign this. Ongoing customers, just a confirmation over email. And I'm good. I consider that, binding enough. I've got a working relationship. Job's complete. It was a success. Now it's time to convert the estimate over to an invoice and submit it for payment. So you open up, create invoice. And let's say there were a few scope changes on the shoot day. We didn't have any overtime, but they wanted some additional items. Like, let's say they added one of my 21-inch monitors, and we ended up doing a Zoom feed for some people that were remote. And what else? The Geminis. We needed more light than what was in my basic light kit for whatever reason. So I like to, let's say 2 Geminis were used. Instead of going quantity 2, I like to treat quantity as shoot days. So if it's a multi-day shoot, that's where I change out this number. And for multiples of the same unit, I just add a second one for the second Gemini. And yeah, that looks good. Let's say we added all of those things. Now, I don't know, maybe the numbers are a little too high for that customer and I got to discount things down. Can do that a couple of different ways. You can either discount the entire job. Here, there's a discount line item. You can put in a percentage, or value. I think a value is dollar amount. I can knock off $500. I don't like doing that because it kind of screws up your reporting later. It doesn't reduce each product service by the proportional discount amount. Instead, it adds in your reports. There's just a new entry called discount. So instead, I like to discount each individual line item. So let's say like, I don't know, I had to give them a 15% discount. So I'm just going to change the quantity to 0.85. And I don't know, maybe for some other reason, I had to match someone else's pricing. Like maybe there's a grip truck and that rental house was billing the client direct and they were only charging $125 per Gemini. Hopefully they're charging more than me and I can go up versus down. But those are different ways you can change the pricing case by case. Now, if things were sales taxable, you just check the line items that are taxable. And in each of these product services, you can specify the sales tax rate. Okay, now it's ready to send. I can modify the payment options. By default, credit card is enabled and ACH bank transfer. I prefer the bank transfer when I can get people to do it. I think the fee to me is like $1.50 per transaction. But credit card, I get hit with a 3.5% of the total plus there's a fee on top, like another, I don't know what it is, $1.50 or something. When people pay with credit card, I try to get that expense covered by the customer, and I really should add that as a product service here, but I just put it under expenses and I call it credit card fee 3.5%. So here I just go 0.035 and I take my total 25.34, and 75. So yeah, that way that $88 is covered by the customer, and the additional fee, the flat fee on top, I just eat that. And then yeah, let's send this off. So same formatting as the estimate, although with invoices, QuickBooks auto-populates the invoice number. I don't know why it doesn't do it with estimates. And then job name, I put at the end of the subject line. And then in the body, I can customize the message to the customer. Like maybe I got to explain the add-ons and why, because often the email goes off to like someone in accounts payable. It wasn't the producer or client that was on site. And then I have a Dropbox link to my W-9 EIN tax info for the customer. Now, what's interesting with just about every new customer, even though I have this in here in exclamations and it's right at the top of the format of every email, they seem to always circle back with kind of a little bit of and again, this is someone I don't know in accounts payable, like a little bit of attitude, and they're like, we can't pay your invoice until you give us a W-9. I'm like, yep, take a look at my email. It's right there. It's actually above the physical invoice. All right, I'm going to send this off and we'll look at what it looks like customer side. Formatting for an invoice is a little bit nicer. So I get this review and pay button. We'll go there in a sec, the body of the email. And then at the bottom of the email is an attached PDF of the invoice. So I'm going to click on review and pay. Now, because I'm already logged into my QuickBooks account, it's got all of my credit card info and my bank info to do a ACH payment. I'm not going to pay myself here, but you get the idea. Customer would fill this out, click pay. Now, the beauty for me is I get a notification email when they pay. The money settles in about 2 to 3 business days. QuickBooks automatically records the invoice, marks it as paid, enters the payment amount in the register for my checking account. It's all linked up. It's hands off for me. It's wonderful. All right, before we move on, I want to void out this invoice so I don't screw up my bookkeeping. So you get 2 options. You can delete or void. If it's a live customer, I always void. That saves the record in the system in case I got to backtrack and figure out what went wrong. But in this case, I'm just going to delete it since it's a dummy company and it's an example. Now, in addition to my template estimates, within each customer, I may have a customized series of estimates for them. Like I have a few legacy customers that go back many years and my pricing is locked in at a lower rate with those customers. So I just use the custom estimate I've got under their company each time I got to write up a new estimate for a new project. I used to have a side business renting generators and power distribution for events and film productions. We ran that out of Irvine. And so I keyed in all of the product services from that inventory of equipment. So let's create a more itemized custom quote. So let's call this like TV show season 1, episode 1, 2, and 3. And then, those bigger productions, they might have like a code for the job and a PO number. And so let's say like it was a 500 amp generator. And gosh, these are old numbers. This is 2008, 9, 10 time span in Los Angeles. And then like, let's see, threefer. Gosh, I haven't done this in so long. Camlock threefers. You would have 5 of those corresponding colors, and then you might have some banded distro cable, 50-foot whips of, let's say 6 of those was kind of standard 300-foot run, and then 600 amp distro box. And then from there, probably want some 100 amp whips to break out. We'll go 50s. Let's go 6 of those. And then let's go some 25s. And then we need some lunch boxes to tag on to the end of those 50 amp. So maybe we have 6 of those, and that's probably a little rich. Let's go 4. It's only a 500 amp plant. Over amped here in distro boxes. And then maybe there's some 100 to 60 splitters. Let's go with 3 of those, and then some 60 amp whips. 25 footer, sure. I had 25s and 50s, so let's say 4 of those. And then 2 60 amp lunch boxes. Oh, I only have 100 in there. What did I call them? 60 amp whip splitters, bait splitters. Huh. Did I not have 60 amp boxes? Gosh, it's been so long, I forget. I feel like I'm forgetting something here on the order. Are there any electricians watching? Can help me out. We got the 500 amp plant. We got our 3. Oh, we need a suicide pin to reverse the ground because it's like 50, 50. Gosh, I forgot how to spell suicide. SUICIDE. Gosh, what did I call it? I guess that's not politically correct, so maybe I had it as cam. Oh yeah, cam female to female. Don't want to offend anyone. Can't use the grammar that's actually used by every electrician on set because they use realistic terms. This thing will kill you, so we're going to call it a suicide pin, not a cam female to camlock female adapter. All right, so here's like a typical one-day distro order and maybe delivery. I think I used to have an F350 back then. So yeah, I would just throw that under F350. If Orange County during business hours, no charge. And then yeah, let's call it San Diego UCSD. And I don't even remember what I charged back then. We'll just call it $100 each way. And I'd put the times in here. And then fuel would be another as used expense. Let's say they did 75 gallons at, gosh, I don't even know what diesel costs nowadays in California. $6, $7. So $450 in fuel consumed. So yeah, this would be an order I'd send off. So $1,500 for a one day. And then like a lot of these shows, you do, the discounting would start like maybe the thing is out for 8 weeks and you get the generator on a 3-day week. So 8 times 3, 20, yeah, 24. So that'd be 24. And then your equipment would be on maybe a 1-day week for all of the add-ons. And shoot, I don't have the extra row in my QuickBooks to do quantities and days. So in that case, this is what I was saying before, I'd have to list out 50 amp baits or 50 amp banded camel here. I'd have to put 6 of these in there, and then I could do them a 1-day week 8 times to span that out. I'm not going to do that here. But anyway, you get the idea. If you get this all pre-entered, and I also could save these as templates. So kind of like my standard distro package for like a commercial 1-day shoot. All right, jumping over to reports. Really the only ones I use are accounts receivable aging summary. I check this once a month to see what outstanding invoices I have, things that are past due, so I can check in with customers and see what's up. You can also schedule reminder emails. So like every 30 days or every 15 days, it resends an email requesting payment. I haven't automated all of that. I prefer to just have a personalized, hands-on check-in with people as needed. But I check this on the first every month. And then the profit and loss detail, I look at those to see where my business is at. And one of the things you can do is you can look at year to date, and then there's a drop down for last year to date. So I can see where I'm at the end of Q1 of 2023 versus Q1 22, 20, 2019, 2018. And then I created one custom report I like to study, which is sales by customer. I like to look at trends on my repeat customers to see where they're at revenue-wise this year versus last year, this quarter versus this quarter last year. And no one stays the same. Every year, things shuffle up and down. I get someone new and I lose someone I thought I could count on. So it's interesting to watch those trends as the years tick by. And it just makes me more and more focused on having a higher quantity of lower dollar customers versus being dependent on like 2 or 3 customers that are paying each like 1/3 or 50% of my income for the year. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thanks for watching. I'd love to get some more discussion in the comments below. Let me know how you handle your bookkeeping. Are you using QuickBooks Online? Are you using another online subscription service or like a flat fee, pay once desktop type of situation? Are you still doing this in Google Sheets and Docs or manual entry of documents? Are you not even that sophisticated with it? Is it just in the body of an email for an invoice? I've seen that too. Let me know.